Hello everyone. In today's class, we will learn about what is a dirty read and how to avoid it. Dirty read refers to a situation where one transaction reads data that has not been committed by another transaction. So, when does a dirty read occur? It occurs when a transaction at the read uncommitted isolation level reads uncommitted data from other transactions, leading to a dirty read. Now, let's demonstrate an example of a dirty read. First, we will create the account table. The account table has 3 columns. The first column is ID, an integer type and the primary key. The second column is name, a character type. The third column is amount, a float type. The table has been created successfully. Next, we will insert 2 records into the account table. The first record has an ID of 1. The name is Mary, and the amount is 100. The second record has an ID of 2. The name is Jim, and the amount is also 100. The insertion is successful. Now let's query the table by running the command select multiplied by from account. We can see that the account table has 2 records. One record is for Mary, and the other record is for Jim, as we inserted earlier. Now let's demonstrate a dirty read. Let's take the example of Mary transferring $10 to Jim to illustrate the concept. First, we will set the isolation level of Jim's transaction to read uncommitted. Next, we will perform a transfer of $10 from Mary to Jim. Mary will start a transaction using the command start transaction. Then, an update statement will be executed to deduct $10 from Mary's account and add $10 to Jim's account. Now, let's check the amount in Jim's account. We can see that it was originally $100 and has now changed to $110. Jim assumes that the transfer of $10 from Mary was successful. However, if Mary decides to roll back the transaction using the command rollback, the transfer will be undone. Now, if Jim checks his account balance again, he will find that the amount has returned to $100. The reason for this is that Jim's transaction was set to read uncommitted, allowing him to read Mary's uncommitted data, which was a dirty read. This demonstrates the occurrence of a dirty read. How can we avoid dirty reads? The solution is to increase the transaction isolation level, such as setting it to read committed, to avoid dirty reads. Let's take a look at the steps to avoid dirty reads. Now let's demonstrate how to avoid dirty reads. First, let's check the current balance in the accounts. We can see that both Mary and Jim have a balance of 100 yen. Now we will set Jim's isolation level to read committed. Set session transaction isolation level read committed. Next, Mary will perform the transfer operation. First, she starts a transaction using the command start transaction. Then, Mary subtracts 10 yen from her account by updating the account table, and Jim's account is increased by 10 yen. Let's check Jim's account balance. We can see that Jim still sees his balance as 100 yen, and doesn't see the 10 yen transferred by Mary. Why? This is because Mary hasn't committed the transaction yet, so the uncommitted dirty data is not visible to Jim. Why? Because Jim's isolation level is set to read committed. He is unable to see Mary's uncommitted data. This ensures the safety of Jim's data. Now let's commit the transaction on Mary's side. After committing the transaction, let's check Jim's account. As you can see, once Mary commits the transaction, Jim can see the 10 yen transferred by Mary. Jim's balance is now 110 yen. Short answer questions. First, please provide a brief explanation of what is meant by dirty read, non-repeatable read, and phantom read. Correct answer: dirty read, when one transaction reads uncommitted data from another transaction. Non-repeatable read, in a single transaction, multiple queries return inconsistent results. Phantom read, in a transaction, two queries retrieve different numbers of rows. Multiple choice questions select one answer choice. In MySQL, the B-read uncommitted isolation level exhibits dirty read issues. A. Repeatable read. B. Read uncommitted. C. Serializable. D. Read committed. Fill in the blanks questions. First, the read committed isolation level in MySQL refers to reading committed data. Dirty read can cause a lot of issues in practical applications. To ensure data consistency, the read uncommitted isolation level is rarely used in real-world scenarios. In this lesson, we have discussed what dirty read is, how it occurs, and how to avoid it. We hope that you have gained a good understanding of these concepts. Thank you, everyone.